They take on dangerous and dirty jobs at the risk of being dumped if they get hurt. A statewide Naples Daily News investigation is focusing on Florida's disposable workers. Our centerpiece story is labor pain. We run through the findings of our statewide probe that exposes practices that allow businesses to exploit the system and their workers. Then we sit down with reporter Maria Perez, who spent more than a year on this story.
They don't check the documents of the workers, but then when they get injured on the job, they or their insurance carriers report the workers.
Plus, a walk down memory lane when a Naples man had a dream job, rubbing shoulders with John Wayne, Jimmy Stewart, Vivian Leigh, and more. It was the golden age of Hollywood. Now he's in his golden years.
I was fortunate. You know, it was one of those things where I was able to remember my lines. I could do things in one take, but save money. And it was just a victim of good fortune.
We'll have those stories along with the latest in our Positively Healthy Medical series. I'm Amy Osher, and this is Behind the Headlines. I'm Amy Osher. Thanks for joining us. They've been called Florida's disposable workers, undocumented immigrants working in high-risk jobs, providing much-needed manual labor for modest pay. While companies profit from them, Florida laws do not protect them. The Daily News' Maria Perez spent more than a year looking at practices that can lead to arrests, jail time, and deportation of injured workers. Our investigation took an in-depth look at the labor pool of unauthorized workers, an estimated 600,000 in Florida, many filling the ranks of dangerous jobs. 1 in 5 construction worker and 1 in 3 farm workers undocumented. Maria Perez's reporting found businesses often employ leasing companies accept phony work IDs to hire workers and then report the fraud if someone gets hurt on the job. Since 2004, 163 injured immigrant workers were charged with a felony for providing false documents. In most cases, it came after their employer or insurer reported them. The same laws used against immigrants can be applied to companies knowingly accepting phony IDs, giving them little reason to verify upon hiring. Unless a worker is hurt, then employers are incentivized to check and report the fraud to avoid paying medical expenses. With a felony charge, undocumented workers face arrest, jail time, and deportation. Maria Perez is in studio with us. Thank you for bringing us that story. How did that really get on your radar screen to begin with?
The first idea came when there was a raid here in Collier County. State investigators and deputies came to a packing house, Oaks Farms packing house in 2014, and they arrested 100 workers. And they charged them with workers' compensation fraud, but really none of them had, or in the charging documents, none of them were accused of applying for workers' compensation. So that's when I started to look into this law and how it was applied.
And it's a little complicated, as your story demonstrates, because a lot of times the companies that have employed the workers are not the ones that are really involved in this systematic exploitation. It's a staffing company.
Yeah, what usually happens is that small companies hire bigger companies that kind of put on their payroll the workers of the smaller companies. They don't check the documents of the workers, but then when they get injured on the job, they or their insurance carriers report the workers. One of the biggest staff leasing agency that we have found have reported more of these workers owns its own insurance. So it's them basically who don't check the documents at the point of hire, but then after a worker gets injured, they check the documents and they report the worker for using these false documents.
And what jumps out at me, and I think what's so powerful, is the fact that these workers are employed in very necessary high-risk fields, construction and things like that, and then they're treated as disposable when they get hurt.
Right. These high-risk industries rely to a great extent in undocumented workers. Documented workers are like 30%, about a third of the roofers nationwide, about that proportion of drywall installers, construction painters. So there is a big incentive for a company that has a high deductible, or even for an insurance carrier, to deny claims, or to refuse to pay claims for injuries that may be very serious.
What I found was interesting also is the enforcement agencies that you contacted, you found very few employers that were charged with anything. It really all fell on the burden, even though the employers had very easy access to finding out whether these documents were real or not.
Yeah, employers, if they wanted, especially those in sectors where undocumented workers are a big proportion of the workforce, they could use E-Verify, or they could use background checks to make sure that the Social Security number that they are saying is theirs, but they choose not to do that. And then they hire them anyway, and then they just they or their insurance carriers, they report them.
Now, what did they say? I don't know if you brought any of your findings to these state agencies, but did they have any kind of excuse or any rationale for not ever going after the staffing companies?
Well, not really. The crime of that is a crime for the employers is to knowingly hire someone who is using false documents. So many times, like a company, the companies are not required to check. It's not.
They'd rather stay in the dark, probably.
And is legal. It's perfectly legal if they don't check the documents with E-Verify or background checks. Florida doesn't require that, so they can just say, we didn't know that this worker was the Social Security number didn't belong to them. We took their word that it belonged to them. So, but what the state enforcement said is that they look into the companies, but they haven't been able to make a case, and that they sometimes have referred when they haven't been able. Well, they made a case. I found at least one employer was charged.
He admitted it, didn't he? In
Yeah.
one of the interviews, he admitted?
He in a sworn statement, he told law enforcement that, he knew his workers were here illegally and they were using false documents. And that's the only employer that we have found have been charged with this crime by state investigators, while more than 163 injured workers and more than 600 other undocumented workers have been charged with this. But what state investigators said is that they have looked into that if they haven't been able to make more cases, it's not for lack of trying.
So it's really, the system is set up to go after the workers as opposed to after the people who are hiring them, as just as the way it's kind of laid out?
Obviously, if I could say something like, I think it's easier to prove the elements of the crime that is used to punish workers than the one that is used to punish the employers. Also, the crime that is used to punish the workers is a felony, while the one that is used to punish the employers is a misdemeanor.
Interesting. And it's worth noting, at the very heart of this, it's about people getting exploited and hurt. So what are the kinds of injuries that people have suffered on the job that have resulted in them not only being injured and incapacitated, but potentially deported?
A little bit of everything. And there was a worker who had 4 fingers in his right hand amputated while he was trying to repair some machinery that he was using, a lawnmower. There were workers who fell from roofs, who had broken ribs, who have broken legs. There was a worker who even died. He had HIV, but the family and the attorney of the family said that the incident, it was a bulldozer. He was driving a bulldozer and he flipped. And then he had to go to surgery, and then he developed infections, and the family said that that speeded up his death. There is sprains. Another woman also had a finger amputated.
So a lot of different things that can happen on these jobs. And I guess as another part of your story, and people will be able to see this online as well, we're going to kick over to Dorothy's video that she shot with you, profiling one of these workers who, if correct me, is facing deportation now as a result of this?
Yes, he was arrested when he was on probation. The immigration authorities came to arrest him, and he is now on deportation procedures, and he is facing almost certain deportation. He has appealed a denial for asylum, but he doesn't really have a lot of hope that he will be able to stay.
Well, great reporting, and let's hear what he has to say.
Pues más que nada cuando yo salí de mi casa salí por ayudar a mis papás porque había momentos que no había comida en la mesa. Esas fueron una de las intenciones de venirnos para acá. Miedo, no temor, porque si me deportan, si eso hubiera sido hace 4 años atrás, no hubiera tanto problema. Hoy tengo una mujer y tengo una bebé. Y tengo 37 años y es el primer hijo que yo tengo. Yo soy el mayor en mi casa y soy el último en tener que tengo hijos, y entonces eso duele tan solo de pensar eso, que si yo me voy, si yo intento regresar para acá de nuevo, a mí, por las deportaciones, a mí me dan prisión. Entonces, automáticamente si yo pierdo el caso, pierdo a mi bebé, pierdo a mi mujer. Entonces eso es lo más triste que hay. No poder hacer nada. Ahora no sé qué vaya a pasar después de eso.
Coming up, does getting to sleep take a major effort? We'll be back after the break with a doctor's advice on setting yourself up for success. Stay with us.
Life here is amazing, and so is the joint care. At the Total Joint Center at Physicians Regional Healthcare System, we've changed the experience of joint replacement for good. With our comprehensive joint care program, most hip and knee replacement patients return home in just 2 days, because we know you want to get on with your active life. Pain-free living starts at Physicians Regional Medical Center, Collier Boulevard, and Physicians Regional Medical Center, Pine Ridge.
Hiring the right moving company is important. Best Moving and Storage is a family-owned and operated business serving Southwest Florida for over 22 years. From our free in-home estimate until the last piece of furniture is in your new place or stored in our climate-controlled warehouse, we treat you like family. Best Moving and Storage is fully licensed and insured, with all of our employees being certified drivers and packers. When it comes to protecting your treasured belongings, choose a company that's experienced and trustworthy. Call Best Moving and Storage today at 239-592-6565.
My name is Steve Unser, and cabinetry is my specialty. I have been creating custom designed cabinetry for 20 years in Southwest Florida, and now I am celebrating the grand opening of our new Naples showroom. Steve Unser Cabinetry will help you design your kitchen, bath, or home office with stunning results, offering the best quality of cabinets with a wide variety of design options and pricing to fit any budget. If your kitchen isn't becoming to you, you should be coming to us. Now 2 locations to serve you.
The older you get, the more you value a good night's sleep. But for many people, getting rest and relaxation can be a real chore. So we went to a doctor for expert advice on battling occasional insomnia. Here's the latest in this week's Positively Healthy. Who hasn't had a restless night or two when no matter how hard you try, you just can't catch a break? Dr. Andrea Bickerton is board certified in family medicine. She says you may be going about it all wrong.
We have a lot of recommendations that we know actually can help improve your quality of sleep. So we try to do those before we consider any other options such as a medication.
The first roadblock to a good night's rest is likely at your fingertips. The ubiquitous tech devices we often take to bed.
Screens have probably been the biggest detriment. So a lot of screens now send the same wavelength of light to our eyes as the sun. And so it's sending the signal to our brain, it's sunny outside, you should be awake, and it's giving us mixed signals and it's making it harder for us to go to sleep.
So power off, or at least keep phones and tablets out of reach. With that out of the way, you can clear your mind and get ready for some R&R.
No alcohol or caffeine within 2 hours of going to bed. Keeping your room cool, having a fan, something to help circulate the air will help. Also, white noise tends to help people fall asleep.
A trap we often fall into is tossing and turning, worrying about the sleep we're not getting. Dr. Bickerton suggests a total reset.
If you're in bed and you haven't fallen asleep in a set amount of time, such as 10 or 15 minutes, get up, go to a quiet place in your house and do a non-stimulating activity. Have a warm glass of milk, read, something like that, just so that you aren't laying in bed because it kind of snowballs to where you begin to get anxious.
Finally, laying down a regular sleep schedule pays off in the slumber department.
I know it's horrible, most people can't stand it, but if you have to get up at 7 in the morning for work, try to get up around 7 to 8 o'clock on most mornings and keep the same bedtime as well.
Being a child actor in the golden age of Hollywood films may seem like a dream job, only it was reality for a now 85-year-old Collier County man. Starting as a toddler, Mickey Kuhn appeared in dozens of films, including Gone with the Wind. Liz Freeman reported this story for the Daily News. Now in his golden years, former child actor Mickey Kuhn volunteers as a courtesy driver at Physicians Regional at Pine Ridge, taking patients and visitors to their cars. Many of his passengers are similar in age and grew up watching some of the blockbuster Hollywood flicks in which Mickey appeared. Starting at around age 1 up until he was 20, Mickey played a role in 32 movies. Here he is playing Melanie and Ashley's son Beau in Gone with the Wind, something he's often asked about.
Of which there are only 2 of us left, 2 cast members listed in the cast, Olivia de Havilland and me. Leslie Howard carries me out crying, saying, "Where's my mother going? Why can't I go with her too, please?" And he tells me, and we had a little conversation there, and then on up and took me up to my bedroom and went to bed. It was just a very short, 212 minutes into a 218-minute movie is what I...
His long list of credits included movies with John Wayne and Jimmy Stewart. To hear more of his stories, check out Liz Freeman's article in our archives at naplesnews.com. Whether it's digging up human interest stories or following your government at work, that's the job of our news teams. Here's a sample of what they've got working on the beat.
Thanks, Amy. So this week we are continuing to look at how a decision to remove temporary protected status for Haitian immigrants is continuing to affect families here. We're following them as they make this decision on what they're going to do with their lives, if they're going to leave their jobs, their homes, their families here in some cases to move back to Haiti. So find out more about that on naplesnews.com.
Hi, I'm Shelby Reynolds. I'm a features reporter at the Naples Daily News. This week I got to sit down and interview Patrick Moran. He's a Naples native who is a member of the all-male a cappella singing group called Din and Tonics, which is from Harvard University. The group will be performing here in Naples at the Moorings Presbyterian Church January 15th. So you can read about the group and the Naples student who's involved online at naplesnews.com or in Thursday's paper.
Hi, my name's Brittany Carloni and I'm a reporter with the Banner and the Naples Daily News. This week I worked on a story about the Corrections State Historic Site. In December, the park's name changed to Corrections State Park. The historic buildings will still remain a significant part of Corrections State Park, but now the name reflects more recreation opportunities available at the site on Corkscrew Road and US 41. Read more about the name change in yesterday's edition of the Banner or online at naplesnews.com.
I'm Harriet Heighthouse, arts and entertainment writer for the Naples Daily News and naplesnews.com. Michelle Caffrey isn't on the New York Times bestseller list yet, but she's a but she really invests herself in a story, living 10 years on a houseboat and scouring Yellowstone Park in search of her latest novel. Read about it in today's Naples Daily News and naplesnews.com.
Still ahead, oh baby, they may be a week old now, but we couldn't resist introducing you to the area's New Year's babies. That's coming up on Behind the Headlines.
When quality, style, and selection matter, Behr's Furniture is the only place to go. And during our 500 brand names event, shop now for up to 70% off the best brands. From half off Tommy Bahama's elegant Royal Kahala collection to half off beautiful Bernhardt designs, you get amazing savings store-wide. Huge savings on brands like Natuzzi, Thomasville, Royal, Hooker, and more. With over 500 name brands to choose from. Don't miss it.
The area's only 30 minutes or less ER service pledge means you'll find less waiting for the care you need. And because we're full service hospitals, a lot more care if you need it. Less waiting, faster care. Only at Physicians Regional Healthcare System.
Hiring the right moving company is important. Best Moving and Storage is a family-owned and operated business serving Southwest Florida for over 22 years. From our free in-home estimate until the last piece of furniture is in your new place or stored in our climate-controlled warehouse, we treat you like family. Best Moving and Storage is fully licensed and insured, with all of our employees being certified drivers and packers. When it comes to protecting your treasured belongings, choose a company that's experienced and trustworthy. Call Best Moving and Storage today at 239-592-6565.
So it's a new year, and for many people it marks the time to reorganize. That may include making room for new home furnishings. Here's Sue Huff along with our Behr's design team in this week's Inspired Living.
Today I'm with Alan Wren, and we are standing in the middle of the Geode collection, which I have to say is quite a gem.
It isn't it?
It's beautiful. Tell me more about it.
This is a new collection we're very proud to bring in. It's from ART Furniture Design. It's a grouping that is made in that transitional to contemporary type of a feel in a quarter sawn oak with a cerused finish with details in cast metals and stone.
And the details, tell me about the details.
Well, they've picked up on the design motif from crystals. And so it's a beautiful little geometric pattern that's been repeated throughout the home office, the dining room, the living room, and the bedroom.
And there's so many pieces that people really have to experience this to come and stand and see all the different elements. You could do a whole house in this style.
Exactly. It's a collection that we have several dining rooms to choose from, several beds to choose from. There's even a wonderful breakfast table or bar that has the look of a slab of wood, but there's room for 4 or 5 stools around the base of it.
And it's affordable.
Very affordable. This looks much more expensive than what it truly is.
And upscale for any type of lifestyle, whether it's condo or home?
Oh, definitely. I think the scale of this furniture would fit a beach condo to a full-size home.
And if people want to come and experience this and look at the entire collection, they should ask for you?
Why, please do. I always love the opportunity to show people many of the collections that we offer here at Behr's. And as we all know, there's no charge for our design services.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
As if we needed an excuse to showcase video of cute babies, we're going to take a moment and welcome the firstborns in 2018 from both Lee and Collier County. They may have aged a week since then, but they're babies. Weighing in at 6 pounds even, Dominic Watts is Lee County's New Year's baby for 2018. His mom and dad say he made an early arrival in earning that distinction.
We definitely weren't expecting him to come for New Year's. He wasn't due until February. But he came rather quickly, so there was no stopping him.
Just about an hour later, Alani Gonzalez became Collier's first delivery of the year. She joins her parents and 2 sisters in Immokalee. That's a wrap on our labor of love. Thank you for joining us. You can always catch up on past shows by logging on to naplesnews.com. On the left-hand side under Quick Links, select Behind the Headlines. I'm Amy Osher. See you back here next week.